Okay, I would like to call the meeting of the Park Committee to order at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, May 14th. Can we have the roll call, please?
Paul,
Here.
Danette,
Here.
Ed,
Here.
Colleen,
Here.
Marlene,
Here.
Paula,
Here.
Tracy,
Here.
Mike one. Here.
and Administrator Green.
Oh.
Oh, Kelly, I'm sorry.
Okay, if we could stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, please. Okay, citizen comments. I don't see anybody here. Is there anybody on Zoom? Nobody on Zoom, I don't think so. Nope, no one on Zoom. Okay. Next on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from the 4/9 Parks Committee meeting. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that?
Yeah, I have a correction.
Okay.
I was here at that meeting and I believe Kelly was here also.
I was not at the last.
Didn't we talk about the Smiley Barn? That you said you worked at the Smiley, that's what I remember.
It must have been 2 ago. I was gone in April.
Okay, we can,
We'll check the tape on
Cause in March, I was gone the whole month of March and April was my first one. But I remember talking to you about the Smiley Barn.
That's right, you're not listed as being present or
No.
absent.
yeah, you're neither.
Yeah. Well, anyways, just for the correction, I was here last week,
Okay,
last week.
we'll make that note. Anybody else have any corrections or comments? Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, Paul and Marlene, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Correspondence, anybody, any correspondence? No, we'll go by that. Mike, you're up.
Last month. Worked on clearing some trees for Memorial Bench on Plainview Parkway. Turned the water on at LCP and Village Hall, already maintenance of fountains here at Village Hall. Performed some maintenance on the drinking fountains at LCP. Spread some concrete emergent herbicide on some flower beds throughout all the parks. We've been working on daily grooming of baseball fields. Did a full check and inspection on the playground equipment in all the parks. Replaced the backstop boards at Fred Keller Field. We had our birthday tree giveaway. Gave away 255 trees the day of the event. The remaining trees were either planted at LCP or we did give away some here at Village Hall for all the week. Had our first shelter rental of the year. Started mowing for the season. And then I'm still looking for 2 more summer workers, if you know, let me know.
What type of hours and that do they have for summer workers? And
7 to 3:30, not a lot of weekends.
They have to be 18, 16.
Yeah, they have to be 18. So,
what's the status of the baseball field?
hopefully next week.
And how rented is the shelter? Is that, do we have a lot of bookings for that so far this?
I feel it's a little less than the previous years,
Okay,
but it usually starts picking up right about this time because people are planning great. Whatnot, but
yeah.
I got a few at the end of the month, but in June, it's really gonna pick up.
Okay, and just a question, I know you didn't mention it here, do we get a lot of the eggs back after the extravaganza?
I would say probably about a 1.5.
Okay,
So not a whole lot left over, but I don't have a lot of new ones either, so we're gonna buy new for next year.
okay. Yeah, figured. All right,
I'd like to make a
yeah,
comment.
go ahead.
I just wanted to say the the flower bed or the area in John Brighton's memory is looking really nice. Right now, the daffodils are blooming. If anybody, if you haven't been up there lately, it's very, very nice. And plus, you know, the new things that were planted there, at least from what I could tell, looks like everything took and it's looking very nice. And I know, is that, yeah. But, you know, again, we had talked about that for a long time, you know, a lot of time and effort and money went into deciding on plans and getting everything in, so it's worth a walk up there, a ride up there and take a look, so it's a nice memory in John's honor.
Yeah, thank you. All right, anybody else? No? Okay, we will move to the topic of the day, the community festival planning, and I'm just gonna say right off the bat, without Marlene, we would not be anywhere close to where we are. Marlene has absolutely been the workhorse of this thing as usual. So Marlene, I'm a personal special thank you for all that you do for this.
You want me?
So I'm gonna let you, you're gonna hand it right over to you. All you
That was coming. Okay, what I did is, and thank you, John, for going up. We have, 3 trucks, the kettle corn truck, the beer truck and the tundra trucks. And as you can see on my sketch, by the parking lot, KK truck is going to be, and that's my next thing, but I want people to volunteer for different projects. The kettle corn truck, he will be coming into that parking lot. He will be parking on that end, but he will be setting up, I call it on the food row, which is right across the street from the shelter. The beer truck will be next to him. Tundra truck, he's leaving at 2:30, so we have to make sure that he's able to get out. One thing we may have to do, Mike, is make sure that where they drive in is not blocked off by cars. We might have to bring some cones up. So that when they're coming in, whoever, I'm gonna call it the person at the bottom of the hill who sits on the rock. Will be telling different people where to go, which way to go. All the blow up houses are gonna be going down where they always were. Not gonna have the rock wall. That fell through. The face painters, I did pass on the recommendations to keep them short, sweet. And not, whole face, that's gonna take a half an hour. And Tracy will be here this year, so she will be, she's the owner. So she will be the one who'll be there, and she says if it looks like it's backing up, she'll just tell everybody short and sweet. The food, we got the guy with the food is really good. And he will be giving the volunteers free sandwiches. So whoever the volunteers are, please pass along that you're gonna have free sandwiches. Of course, we got the band and J.K. Lee will be, and I did talk to the band. I asked them if they would be very hurt if we asked them to take a half-hour break between 2 and 2:30. J.K. Lee will be performing in the grass right in front of the band. And he said, no problem. So that's been taken care of. Let's see, petting zoo and the wagon rides again are up on top. Are we getting the firehouse? With the burning for, the burning house?
Yeah,
What is that?
What is that?
yeah, where the kids put the fire out.
Yeah, I call it the
Yeah,
firehouse.
I have a call into Pete, the guy from the Pewaukee Fire Department, so he's supposed to be arranging Flight for Life and that other
Okay.
piece.
Any questions on my crazy drawing?
Well, are there 3 bouncy house areas?
No, it's just that whole, there's gonna be the long one and then the baseball,
And the
the basketball and another one.
Bouncy house.
Bouncy house.
The obstacle, the bouncy, the basketball and the baseball.
So there's 4 units. I just call it the blow up aisle. Blow up.
And it looks like you have Flight for Life, so they will attend if they don't have anything else.
If they don't have anything else to do.
And we're good with, none of the trucks need power. That's
No,
all figured
I
out.
called each of the trucks. I said, no noisy generators. Kettle corn will be plugged in, and the beer truck said if there's enough power for him to plug in there too. he would. If not, he's got battery packs. Tundra truck has no need. He said, I'm all frozen. He said everything's frozen, so he doesn't have to do that.
Is our guitar player guy gonna be there this year?
I did not call him. I did not ask. I could call him and what time did you want him to come in?
He just always kind of showed up early and then when the band and stuff started, I think he left. He just did it on his own.
Yeah.
Sort of.
But I did call him. You want me to call him and ask him? I can.
I was just asking because I know he's been here for the last
Okay.
few years.
Let me put that on my list.
Did you mention, are we having this balloon guy? He's twisting up little
Yeah.
animals? Okay. So
Yeah,
he is-
there you are, the face painter.
Oh, he's there. Okay.
Yeah.
Face painter and balloons. Okay. so
Yeah, they're gonna
there.
we're gonna need one long. Like we did set up last year.
That was one long tent for the face painters and the balloons, wasn't it last year? Was it two little?
Yeah, there were
square
two.
ones?
2 side by side because they were a little bit separated. So there wasn't such a mob in front of one. 2. Because we don't need any now where the trucks are. So. Okay,
Did we get any volunteers from the
I'm
community?
working on it. Are we having?
Yeah.
cups of
phone is
canine?
on the door. You get a
I
piece of
have
sandwich.
to, I will call Lisa Panos. I've not had a chance to make that phone call.
Okay. So you're gonna take care of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other,
Just for the committee's information, needless to say, disappointed about the rock wall. I got a call
Yeah.
from Izzy, who was director of that, and among other things, in Adventure Rock, about a week and a half ago. And they just decided not to do it this summer. That would be any of those venues out. So, I think they have discontinued that sector of their business. Dan had just said that they're in a process of reorganization as a company. So no climbing wall. So anyway, but I just wanted all the committee members to know. So there you go.
if there, and thank you, Ed, for calling me. If there are any other cancellations or somebody calls somebody saying, hey, this is in regards to the festival. Either take the message and call Paula or me. Or if somebody from the town calls the town hall and says, hey, what about this? I haven't heard from this, or is this possible for me to come? Have them call me or Paula. I'm not going out of town beforehand. I just won't be there on that Saturday. So, okay, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll, if you want me to, I'll kind of tell you what, and if somebody says, hey, I'll do that. Gonna need somebody down at the bottom of the hill at the parking lot where you come in up here. And with a list, probably this map. And when people come down, they'll say, hey, I'm Tundra Truck, where do I go? They're gonna have to cross over through the fire department, come into the grass, and Tundra Truck is gonna be on that north end. Mike has it all marked. Because he's gotta leave. So we can't put him someplace where he's gonna drive through crowds. Okay,
Could we even make like a little sign, like an 8.5 by 11 sheet and kind of put it at their spot too?
well, that's why I've got this.
Okay.
It can be bodies.
Okay.
And the beer truck comes all the way through and around and he parks right there on the grass. I'm calling that the food court for lack of anything else. The kettle corn truck, he comes into that parking lot where it says fire department. He's gonna park his truck there, but his stuff, his tent and everything will be on the food court line.
He's bringing his own tent.
So Marlene, are we having like those dancers from this
You haven't heard from me.
studio? You haven't heard from them?
We're waiting. They have a big national competition that they all leave on Sunday for. So I spoke to Amy, the owner, and she's getting a head count of how many. Cause some people are leaving Saturday, some people are not leaving till Sunday, so she doesn't know her head count totally yet,
Okay.
with how many people she'll have.
I mean, do you think you'll know Soon.
I was hoping to know now. I'm waiting to hear back from her. I said, leave me a voice message. If she calls during the meeting, we'll find out.
Mhm.
I don't. heard back
Just
from her.
because of needing a surface for them or where.
They're gonna have to bring their own maps. And where they're gonna go, I don't know,
Yeah, I mean,
because it can't go between 2 and 2:30, and the band will be playing the other times. So I set this up thinking they won't show up.
Well,
If they do, we'll have to find a spot.
well, I know if they, we'll cross that bridge when we come to
Yeah.
it to figure out. what
Let's
we're
do
doing.
that. I have a couple of sign-up sheets here, whoever wants to do it or think about it. The north area on the grass, that would be just north of the bandstand. We need somebody there for the fire department where the house should go. The Flight for Life, that goes off to the north further. And if the K-9 shows up. Okay?
Mhm.
And I call it the lower vendors location, the beer truck, the kettle corn, tender treats, and the food. The food is Christopher, their names and telephone numbers are on here in case we get the tornado that's coming tomorrow night. And some damage is done, or we don't know. But whoever gets it has the information. So if somebody calls and says, hey, can't do it, and I need the telephone number for the beer truck. I think you sent it to Paula. The upper vendors, horse wagon and petting zoo.
I'll go up there.
You're gonna go up there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Marlene,
Hmm?
you can put my name on that, on the petting zoo / the wagon, because that's traditionally what I've done.
she took it already.
Well, you need more than
Yeah,
two
you-
people.
Okay,
You
wait,
cannot-
wait, I got something else going on. Hang in there. Okay,
Eh, Okay,
JK Lee, the band, the police, okay, and the face painters and the inflatables. They would have to be, the band can go through the parking lot and park up and then unload. Like they always do. JK Lee, they can park in by the parking lot and their people can practice and then just come in front of the band and I've got to call him back.
They'll just do what he did last year then, right?
Yeah, but they're gonna do it on the grass in front of the band.
I mean, as far as like where they're gonna park and all that other stuff. Yeah, okay.
The face painter is the same thing. Those two go down below and the inflatables. We do have the police auxiliary coming. They said there's gonna be at least 5 people coming, so we can, whoever wants to meet with them. And I'm gonna put them on here too. Can decide where do you need the police auxiliary? Do you want 2 up on top? Do you want 3 down here? Do you want somebody floating to relieve them? So whoever wants to do that,
Are they gonna be handling the parking?
yeah,
I can do that one. Those are my
Okay.
buddies.
I'm not gonna volunteer for any, I'll just pick up whatever needs to be picked up
Okay.
at the end.
now we have, I called 2 Steves from 2 different scout troops. And they all said, sure, we're coming. So we have scouts from Troop 13 and scouts from Troop 47 coming. How many are gonna show up? They said they figured there would be at least enough to help with the bouncy houses, to set up with the wagon ride and the petting zoo. Now, when when you guys are done getting people into where they're supposed to go, you know, mingle and find out where do we need help. You know, it's really easy.
What time are you telling some of these folks to show up?
Early,
Like what time is that?
10 o'clock. At least, if not earlier.
Because I know in the past, like the band guys have been there at 9:30 or 9:15.
Yeah, should I tell everybody 9:30?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's a good
Mike,
thing to
what-
throw out.
What's your,
Band takes quite a long time.
right,
yeah.
Yeah, that's why they come.
yeah, that's why they.
Sound check.
Like California, I mean, you don't want stuff. You know.
Should I say 9:30?
I don't know, which time you need. Same with the beer, I mean, they need time to set up.
Yeah.
As long as they're ready to go at 11. I think.
Why don't I just say 9:30?
Well, I just said, tell them they have to be ready to roll at 11 and they can
Yeah.
work backwards
Yeah.
from there.
9:30, 10.
Cause we've had people rolling in at 11.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't, wasn't that the horse lady? I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyways, so that should be it. And I will call everybody again, like the Monday before. I'll touch base with everybody except the cops and the fire.
Okay.
That's your job.
Will you be here at the meeting on the 11th?
Yeah.
though? Okay,
And then I'll put these in, clipboards. And then everybody will have it. Like I say, at least the numbers are on here. If there's something untoward happens, at least you're not sitting there. I gotta call the beer guy and I have no idea who it is or where he's from.
Chad, I forward you, the email.
Okay, thank you. Chad? Okay. That way, we got the information. And, you know, if we don't need it, fine, but if we need it, we got it.
Did we ever decide if we were gonna do the ATM or not?
Who did I talk to about the ATM?
Well, you and I talked about
Oh,
it.
we did.
Yeah.
I thought we said no.
I think we said
We said
no.
no, okay, because we still had it as a question mark on our list.
Yeah.
All of these vendors will take credit.
People,
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Okay.
Um. Marlene, since you need someone to direct fire department, KK, you know, the kettle people, the beer people, just simply where to park based on the map. I can certainly do that and then segue to something else.
Yeah,
Mhm.
then just,
Yeah, because I will, again, I don't know what you have in mind, but for the wagon rides, you need at least two of those.
Yeah.
And I would not put getting on and off the wagon in the hands necessarily of a teenager.
well, like I say, we'll have to see who shows up.
Yeah.
Well, because in
And-
the past, we always had 3 of us up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
and
it gets pretty demanding depending on what happens.
once everybody's in place,
Right.
your job's done,
Mhm.
go find
Pettings,
something.
they have their own. But yeah, the Pettings, it was surprisingly, they were handled, I think, once they're. set
Yeah,
up,
that,
they were-
that,
but the
that was
wagon
easy
thing-
peasy. It was getting
Yeah.
people on and,
Right.
and you know, the thing that threw us a sort of a curveball, but I thought we handled it very well, was the special needs people that
Right.
showed up.
Mhm.
Quite a few, and
Mm.
that, you know, you have to be on your game.
Well, and it was nice in the past when Ed rides on the wagon and he gives a little history and he points things out throughout the park. And many people have said that was so great to
Oh, yeah,
have someone
there was, I heard that.
explaining. So I like the fact that if Ed's available, you know, he rides and goes along and such, so.
Well,
Thank you.
there should be enough who are hey, Ed, it's time for you to take a break. You know, there should be enough people there. And like I say, once everything is set up, you know, just wander around and take care of everybody. The Christopher Korolowski, your guy, said everybody, the helpers, get a free sandwich. He will provide that free.
He's
So-
covering it? That's nice.
And as long as we have our lanyard with our.
You have your
name and
lanyard on,
Identification.
or the auxiliary
husband parks,
police,
it's
yeah.
all good. Okay.
So do we have a number of like volunteer, just lanyards say volunteer on them that we'd hand out to those people?
I don't.
Okay,
I
maybe we can
don't-
make some.
Didn't Kathy make some up?
She handed
had-
things
I wasn't
out.
here last year. I
Last
don't know
year-
what we did.
Yeah, she handed out coupons. She said,
No,
like,
there's no
she
coupon.
gave me some to give
Oh.
to the Citizens Academy Park people,
Oh,
and I handed them to them.
there's, if they have the uniform on, they're
They will,
good.
it'll, and I guess we'll just tell the food guy, hey, if it says Washington
Auxiliary
Sheriff's
police,
Department,
we have
auxiliary,
lanyards,
right.
so,
Mhm.
and I don't think there's. This, if the scouts come, they have uniforms on. Oh, the Mr. Baseball Man. He's coming.
And who's that? What do you mean?
Mike, the inflatable
Oh,
baseball guy. I called him up and he said he'd love to come again.
He's from the Optimus. Club,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Mhm.
what, I didn't see him, what, he dresses up? or what?
No, he's helps the kids how to bat, how
Oh.
to stand, how to get the
Oh,
ball.
that. Okay, all right. I
They
didn't-
loved him. They were standing in line behind him.
I never saw that. We were with that wagon. I didn't see.
Yeah, I
it.
don't remember.
Was he at the blow up area?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's the baseball guy. Thought you were
Yeah, he's
talking
in the
about Paul
blow up
Euchre.
area.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah. I'm like, that's enough, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be there too.
I'm sure his price tag.
And Paula, he will be the only one who won't have a uniform, so maybe you could, or somebody, if you see Mike, him, just tell Mike you get a free sandwich.
Yeah, he must have been.
Hmm. And I think, any other questions? I think I covered it.
So we really, I mean, is the, all the food is done, the drinks are done, all the attractions except the horse-drawn
dance.
carriage is taken care of. I mean, we don't need any other volunteers for any of that kind of
No.
thing. So I think we're in pretty
Um,
good shape for the shape we're in.
we should.
Well stated, Paula.
Yeah.
Shape we're in.
You know, it'll be,
That's-
it'll be
that's my grandmother.
nice. I think it'll be good to have, just now start introducing, having the beer truck there, where a vendor is selling the alcoholic beverages. It no longer has to be the volunteers or need the license or an ATM or handling money and all of that business. So
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
glad we're doing that.
Yeah. Tracy, were you taking care of Mary Jane? Or was it Kelly?
Yeah.
Would you mind calling her?
What do you want me to ask?
Just say, hey, we'll see you up on
Yeah,
June seventh.
she has texted me a few times and. it
Okay,
seems
you
like
can
we're on
text her.
track, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you want to take care of that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the contract is signed, I think.
Well,
she's
say,
ready to
hey,
be
we
here
need
and
you up
she-
and running and ready to go at,
Yes, I've done it.
okay, thank you. And the petting zoo, who's
She
did
kind of
that?
set her standard.
I mean,
Hasn't she?
As far as I know, everything is in the contract stage, so I can contact them, but.
Just a week before.
Yeah.
You know, and who did the petting zoo?
I did,
Who did, could you text them to me?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
You know, with those efficiencies, you better be careful. You may be assigned more things than you want.
I mean, I just sort of at a place where they've got their contracts. so I
Yeah,
assume they're gonna
well, once
show
the
up and-
contract's there, we know.
Close contracts.
Yeah.
You'll be
They-
surprised,
they-
some
they-
people, I'm sorry,
It's a Saturday.
you know, people will call you and say, hey, is your event still on? Yeah, did you hear otherwise?
Mm. It's
But,
rain or shine, right?
You know, that's why I say I'm just gonna call everybody on Monday.
Are we paying everybody ahead again this year?
I don't know.
What are you feeling?
Ask Dan, he's.
Are we-
I'm doing
Are we
okay.
paying all the vendors ahead?
Yeah.
Usually we
I'm
pay
doing
like
okay.
a
Yeah. I'm fine.
first installment and then more.
It's,
the event.
yeah.
Okay.
Money down. Like that, I know we have refund.
That has not arrived yet, I assume.
No, I might talk to her Monday. Told her,
Yeah.
So yeah, we. been putting-
Is there anything we,
I think it's after.
yeah,
We have porta potties.
too bad we couldn't replace the rock wall with something good, but I don't know what we could do with this.
There is a place
lengthy-
called Tree Topics for,
Yeah, what is that?
so what they do is they,
Uh-oh.
they'll rig up a tree in the park where they can, kids can actually like climb, they're not climbing, they're climbing ropes off a tree and then repel back down.
Mm.
They were at an event in Germantown, I went to once, it was a big hit.
There's the closest big trees.
So there's that one tree kind of comes down. the road.
Oh, it's an actual tree.
Yeah.
They rig an actual tree
Yeah,
up.
like the Actual tree. they'll rig it
Yeah.
up and then kids gotta
It's
climb up
almost like
and then
that.
repel back down.
Things that you-
Otherwise, there's some going on. Like, it's the
Hmm.
big events.
That sounds like a good idea.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
And what's the name of them again? Because it'd be fun if some of us wanted to check their schedule and just go see what they do somewhere if it's local.
And I mean, the event I went to, it wasn't a free, like people had to pay to do it.
Mhm.
This was probably like 3 years ago, like $20.
Oh,
So I don't know if it's something that. If we would pay for, ahead, or if this would be a pay for customer. Event, that I don't know how they would go.
Interesting.
I would, Mike, and for the committee, I would suggest, Mike, that, we not do it this year, but look into it next year, but still, check the particulars.
Yeah.
All right, because obviously I'm gonna assume the price has gone up in 3 years.
Thanks.
It hasn't,
Mm-hmm.
and, et cetera, plus getting them at in that it's late May and the festival is, what, 4 weeks away?
Yeah, I said this year.
But
But yeah, I mean, why don't
thank you for
we could at least look them up, and if they're gonna be in the area, just a couple of us will look. I mean, I'm curious about it. I'd kind of like to see what it's all about, so.
How many kids did they have in the tree at the same time?
Probably
What a zip lining.
We have the hill, they can come right down the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the climbing walls too.
X.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
We did that with,
So like.
Oh, yeah.
only one person at a time.
I seen that. That was at Scottish Highlanders.
Oh, that's fun to do.
Yeah.
My husband just maybe made him
And-
put my boys
Our
for
insurance
Christmas. I haven't
program.
gotten that.
Yeah, and Mike, do you recall, were they making people sign waivers for climbing trees? Do you know?
6-year-old.
I wonder.
I wouldn't need to.
I know.
Yeah.
Stones at a Target.
Yeah,
That's probably why they got rid of their.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, I asked, but she would not tell me.
Well, I
That's what
like
I'm
the
thinking.
idea of that too, but I think we want to cater to like the kids more than, I don't know how the backstory would be like to cater to the kids. It's more like a kind of an adult thing, I think, isn't it? I love the idea of a dunk tank, but who's gonna get dunked?
I would build.
You're supposed to sit on the dunk tank.
Yeah. I think a dunk tank would be super
Yeah,
fun.
like, welcome back.
I'm sure you could just rent a dunk tank too,
Depends
right?
on the weather.
Oh, well.
It ends up being like 50 degrees and some.
And Marlene, I was just gonna say, when I was doing like the bunny handler stuff on that end on the Easter thing, I did have 3 different guys come up and say, hey, are you gonna have that classic car show again in the summer? And a lot of them said, you know, or well, the 3 of them said, and they were different parties. They liked it, they miss it because they come up with their kids or their wives or whatever. So what it's
Yeah,
worth,
that's
I said, I will just pass along that you miss it, but I said there were no
Yeah.
plans for it this year.
Well, who, wasn't that, who would bring that car show? It was Doug, right?
Does,
Yeah, it was,
And their vendors.
and Joe.
Mhm.
I think your mom.
Yeah, Joe
Yeah, Joe
Mama
Mama.
does it once a month. And, you know, so just for what it's worth, were people that were kind of,
Reached out to- 'cause that was
Oh, you
the
did?
stuff. That's-
Mhm.
and Joe's a hard no.
Okay.
Would do it, but he was reluctant because of the low turnout on cars. That
Mm.
guys, there's too many other events, it'll be like Chicken Fest going on the same day.
okay,
And there's another car show, can't remember where it was, but he wasn't.
That didn't take priority from you.
So,
Yeah, the last year we did not have, maybe half the cars we had the year before.
secret to
Yeah,
that
the
was
last year we
those
did it. I
3
think
gentlemen
we had
were talking to you.
Yeah.
Asked them to do
It's
it.
not-
well, there you go, but I mean, they were separate.
Mm,
They've been doing them up in the bowling alley at Sussex like every weekend for the past couple
Yeah.
of weekends.
Yeah.
But I know something that Doug did bring up that he would look into helping with if we did like a touch a truck thing. Like, he's got like the antique fire
Oh.
truck to bring.
Yeah,
You know, we have, like, years past, we've had one DPW truck down by the fire department. We could always have them bring more stuff out, and stuff like that. But
Mm.
I don't know, if we would wanna take off the parking lot with that stuff.
well, that could go on the grass
Truck
too.
From the quarry, some great big bulldozers or something.
That's a lot of truck.
I agree.
You know. Something like that you want to keep it.
Yeah. Tracy, would you want to take charge of the scouts? And who can go where? Okay. And Paula, Colleen and Paul, could you make sure the vendors get where they're supposed to be?
Well, I thought I was supposed to do that.
No, you're doing the north area, the fire department, the Flight for Life and the K9.
Okay.
And you will-
Where's K9 going?
We don't know yet. Paula's taking care of that. But Colleen and,
Tech.
So
Oh.
put Ed/Paula on that north area.
Yeah, because we would, you know, in terms of exit and entrance, since they're coming through that southwest corner of the parking lot. That's the area we would be in. They would come down the hill, blah, blah. And then direct, you know, the various vendors firehouse, et cetera, because Flight for Life.
You can't really
Coming in
drive
by helicopter, I
Yeah,
can't, you know,
yeah.
go, hey, you know, it's right here.
Have your.
So that's, yeah,
Didn't you have cones out there in the general area?
last year, I believe we did.
I think you had cones. This is where the Flight for Life kind of, sort of.
Actually, I was just looking that up, because, yeah, it was 150 feet by 150 feet, I had it painted. And then the
Yeah.
in the corner. So, yeah, that's what I had last year.
I thought there was something. And we can go into this more in depth.
How long did they stay?
Quite some time.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would,
And
I
did they
would,
turn, like, did
Well
they
over
shut
an
the
hour.
helicopter down and you could approach it and, yeah?
Yeah,
That's cool.
you could look inside and,
Oh, that's
was
yeah, I was
really
really
cool.
impressed how long, well, they weren't on a call, or they
Right.
were not called. Because they could be landing and they could be there for 2 minutes and get a call and it's over, they're gone.
Yeah,
Because obviously the top priority is medical emergency,
sure.
so. Anyway, okay, I'll have my buds and we'll just direct these people and everything will be hunky dory.
yeah. Like I say, once your people are in place, wander around, see who needs help, bouncy house, relieve it and people up on top.
Yeah, yeah, I'll just be wandering around doing whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to take a break or whatever, let me know. I'll come and stand in for you guys.
Yeah, you do need if things work out, the petting zoo is self-explanatory and. Obviously, the kids that are there are guarded by adults. So that's not so, but with the wagon and the horses, it definitely, you need at least 2, possibly 3 people there.
Okay,
Because if we have a beautiful day and there's a lot of people show up, some people can get gnarly standing in line. It was interesting in the past on that. Hopefully that will not happen.
you had tables up there, picnic tables that people were sitting around.
I had a Thames last year. I cleared it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
helps,
really helpful.
Yeah.
especially for the little
Very
ones,
helpful.
especially if it's really hot, that kind of thing.
So when I brought up volunteers before, have you've discussed that, meaning the scouts, are they the volunteers? Were there any adults that had come forward to help from the community? There
No,
was-
just a
no.
baseball guy that I called.
Okay,
I thought Jasmine said she had something on the website about
I haven't heard
Mhm.
anything
asking
from.
for volunteers.
See what if,
You're Such an optimist, I love you.
no, I'm just asking, I don't know. I mean, I'm-
Hey,
some-
if somebody, a friend of your husband wants to come along, you've got nothing to do, bring them
Just
along.
For tables set
Hey,
up
we're
around
making
our.
a sign, come on.
He has stuff to
somewhere.
do.
It's probably gonna be here.
Okay,
Days.
I want to hang out around the food court.
Yeah, well, you'll have the tables out there in front for the band. You had those 3 tents out there. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
No,
Maybe we could, well, I don't know about this, or maybe even put like a pad and a pen out and say suggestions, like, what would you like to see here next time, and let the public kind of chime in, and we could, go through the answers and, because maybe they want to do that, maybe they want, I don't know, more carnival-ish stuff, more sports-ish stuff, if that's an
Yeah.
actually word. Maybe we could do that.
I did get calls from 3 or 4 vendors who were wondering if we were gonna have vendors. But
Are they crafters? you mean?
yeah,
I think you could get more vendors, only because vendors tend to advertise their.
Mhm.
events. So if we got more vendors, let's say we get another beer vendor or another. food vendor, they tend to, I know that.
Well, yeah.
50 Had something in the Freeman and had their list.
yeah, these gals are people who sell things.
Oh.
Crafts and stuff, but they still do send out to the people. And I know Kathy didn't want it this year,
So
so,
we've always had,
Mhm.
last year we did it, I think.
Right.
Quick
Yeah.
Trip and.
Yes. It was a complete waste of space.
That
Yeah.
dentist guy.
And even though you collected like $20 ahead of time, they didn't care if they didn't get it back. They were no shows. And And like Mike said, you know, some of them were wanting to show up later and we couldn't have cars driving in there. There were children already walking and. So, yeah. You know, everything has a season and I think, you know, the car show went away and the crafters went away. Now we're bringing in some new things, so. Are we doing food pantry stuff again?
No, we didn't have it last year. It wasn't advertised for this year.
Did you have many people bring food? for
One
Easter
can.
Extravaganza?
Easter, yes, Easter extravaganza, my back of my car was filled. Uh. There was like $35 cash
Hmm.
and 50 or 60 items.
Nice,
So there was quite a bit for the Easter, yeah.
that's good.
But last year for the festival, there was one thing in the. So. Which I did take up to her.
We had 361 kids, we had 400 adults at the Easter egg thing, and 7 dogs.
Yeah.
$7.
Somebody
Seven
counted the
dogs.
dogs. Fun.
We had treats for the dogs. Or
So almost 800.
Tracy had
people
treats.
total.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was a good day. Mother's
It was a
Day.
beautiful
Good
day
day,
too.
weather was perfect and good.
It was nice out.
Mhm. No, if anybody goes to stuff this summer. And you see people who I've got a whole pile of. Cards from different food trucks and stuff. And if you go any place and you say, wow, this is really interesting, even if it's somebody selling stuff. We had that one person come with the truck with all the animals in it. That was at Sussex one year. And the kids could go in and touch all the furs and the animals. They were all dead. Stuff. They were stuff. But you know, if you see anything like that, get a card
Let's touch the.
or get the information, you know, we can always. Call them up. I always like to call people in at least by November. It's gotta be done at least by then.
Well, I had just really quickly mentioned to Mike too, like maybe you eventually want to think about moving it up top instead of all down on the bottom. I don't know.
If we have a pavilion and the electrical.
Baseball. field.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna have 30 foot backside. 70 feet of fence side fencing in each direction. Field.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be-
Well, you got a lot of open
Yeah.
grass area there,
Yeah, there's that whole prairie area, like where the,
no, down below, I mean.
yeah, we do. It's
It's
not
kinda
really
like that,
even, yeah.
It was last fall, you know, potentially where the ice rink parking lot is, you know, filling that in with. Put grass in there
Mhm.
with outlets, or, you know, you can move the bouncy houses
Yeah,
over there. Some of the food area around and kind of. Jumble around.
that's a good idea,
Yeah,
Mike.
I
There's
feel
just
like,
no shade over there. It's pretty open.
We could plant a tree in the middle.
I mean, cause I feel like we're getting sort of landlocked here a bit, you know?
That's a really
What-
good
what
idea. Have you
became
brought that
of
to the,
5K run, that was gonna be,
This.
Okay.
I haven't heard a word about that. Is this Saturday still on?
Yep, 17th, I emailed them last week. Cause he actually did have the wrong address listed,
Hmm.
right park, the wrong end.
Maybe it would be kind of cool if we could get somebody to do a race that would be the same day as the community fest and kind of tie it in somehow.
Well, it's confusing with parking and everything else. You start bringing all kinds of other people into the park
Yeah, but yeah.
for other activities. And Community Fest in itself fills up just about the available parking spaces, plus we're gonna be losing parking spaces up on top with the ball field. So I'd be a little cautious about trying to be too optimistic to get
Yeah,
too many
something.
people into park on one day.
are they putting parking along Bartlett Drive for the baseball fields?
It's not in the plans right now, it's
Okay.
here.
Yeah, that's a mess.
Did you talk to the board about changing out that ice rink? How much is that ice rink used?
Other,
Well,
Yeah, I
on
was,
the average,
I mean, 2 years ago, it was open 5 days, I think this year was open. 5 days.
Yeah, if the weather's good,
It all
people
depends
use
on
it.
whether-
It's
When it's,
I don't know.
when it's used.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not gonna be free,
no,
the asphalt. A lot of electric, all that's, you'd have to buy an ice rink portable.
Mm.
So kind of like what maybe Sussex has, there's other vendors too, but. It's like free. Yeah, I mean, we could extend this parking lot that's there, you could almost double that size going to the west. There's a-
I think we park on there anyways.
For events.
For the Easter egg hunt we did, we were
Yeah.
full for the Easter egg hunt, on top and the bottom.
I mean, not like snowmobile trails are hardly open anymore, but when they are, that local lot is packed. You can't get in there because the partner trailers, trucks, sometimes it's like.
Well, what is capacity now? Yeah,
I would probably say. Pretty.
that's really not that big when you think about it.
No,
You know, there's actually more parking at Lisbon Oaks. That was one of the things, there wasn't enough parking there to make that a little larger. But I went out and I counted all of the spaces. And now, if you combine every single space at Lisbon Community Park, there's more spaces than Lisbon Oaks. But the parking lot that's adjacent to the ball field where it would be, where the shelter is and stuff, that's actually a smaller parking lot than what's at Lisbon Oaks.
Hmm.
And that fills up pretty good when you have a rental on the shelter.
Yeah,
Paula?
yes.
Mike, at some point with the I mean, weather is unpredictable. But where the general trends are going is our winters are getting warmer and we're getting less snow. So hence the ice rink and I've always been very proud and told people more about our sled hill. Because I think we have the best sled hill in the village. Sussex doesn't really have anything like that. So of course you promote your A pluses and forget about your C minuses. But I don't know. I mean, down the road, I can see the ice rink going away. I mean, the ski trails, the cross-country ski trails. I would estimate even with the cold January we had, just seeing totally underutilized. I mean, that sign that's out on Lake 5. It was closed more than it was open.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah, we didn't get a lot of snow this year.
no, our snow total was pitiful. It was cold, but we didn't get a lot of snow. But that sled hill is something that I think is really cool. And I think a lot of people enjoy it when there is snow. And of course, we're not gonna put in the budget snowmaking machines. I don't think that would work, would it, Dan? Anyway. Okay, but it's just, again, just a thought.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, because again, our winters have become so inconsistent from what any of us in this room would remember. When we actually had snow on the ground for 2.5 months.
I know a lot of people are actually going to chillers or ice rinks. That's,
Yeah, or there's also the Mullet Center at Arrowhead. If you want to ice skate or hockey, that kind of thing, that's open to the public. But yeah.
So just to kind of redirect this, are we done, Marlene, are we covered
Yeah.
now?
have
I
we
think so.
covered
Any
this?
other
It's
things on the festival?
Okay.
new.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody have any other comments, thoughts, or questions? We have one more meeting before the festival, so we'll be able to tie up any little loose ends then. Does anybody have anything else? No? Requests for future agenda items.
I had a request from. Those topics administrator who's looking to expand the family. We had that file,
Oh, yeah.
And they want, they're talking about making price for something that is provided, their ability to.
Mhm.
So Jeremy and I are looking at having a plan created. Like, how they were getting code. That baseball field that's. What we can do. I don't know if that'll have to be back here into the board or.
Is that the closest one to where they live? Like they live in that, yeah. Or,
Okay.
Just because I had.
absolutely.
We had a huge recycle event. 2 weeks ago, a month ago, over at Sussex Hamilton, and they filled some trailers, people were dumping off. Electronics just for a donation towards whatever they were trying to fund.
Yeah.
It was-
Hmm.
And this, the price.
Yeah. That's
That's an awesome thing to do.
Could we put down, an update on how the ball diamond construction is coming along on the next month's agenda, please?
If we want to have that under correspondence, because every time for a meeting, everyone asks me if we had an update on it. I just ended up telling everybody in blue, but.
Okay, so correspondence, okay,
Yeah, but,
okay,
so May 19th is when. We're
great,
supposed to get rain next week, but hopefully it'll start Monday and go.
thank you, okay. Yeah, I just, because before we weren't supposed to talk about it unless it was on the agenda, but thank you, if we have it in correspondence, we're good, thank you.
also something I want to put on the agenda for next week. Marlene and I were talking about it briefly was grants. That's something that I want to really kind of try to focus on this year, is to find out what grants are available. I've never written a grant, but I mean, I'd really like to try to see what we could do to work on grants, see what kind of grants are available for the park. So if anybody has suggestions or thoughts, we can put that on the agenda for next time too.
Dan, did you say that there was somebody in the town, an engineer or somebody who writes grants?
Yeah, the issue with grants is that we need to know what we're doing. It has, I guess, dollar figure in mind and project. That we know what grants we're writing. So, once we figure out funding, which will have to go through the board at some point, then the company that I've talked to, Architecture, who's reaching out to Kathy prior, they do grant writing, so they can. What I'd like to do is have a complete design done by them, and then they can figure out a price point and go with whatever funding we need, but then they also will write grants for us for whatever project. I haven't really gone too much in the woods because they want to be free and I don't have any money to give them. So right now we're just kind of focused on trying to figure out how we're funded, whether that service would come from the board. Hopefully soon. And then we can come.
Is there any buckthorn? We tried for that buckthorn grant.
Yeah, I mean, the DNR's got a ton of grants. The issue I found with them is a lot of times when they have them posted, they don't post them till like towards the end of the year. And a lot of them are matching grants where it's like, I need to have the other half approved, you know, like by budget time in October-ish, where it's like that ship has already sailed. So it's kind of hard to apply for a grant that they give us money and then I got the cascade for, you know, $30,000 out of the year, you know, or something like that. So it's tough with like a lot of the other ones that I see, because I get a ton emailed for others, you know, certain stuff. They're kind of specific, most of them, but I do see a lot of grants going through. So it's hard to sometimes time though.
I mean,
I'd be interested to see what they are. Can you mind forwarding to me just so I can look at them? Yeah, just be interested to see what's out there and available. Yeah, okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything for next time? Okay, good. Okay, does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay, Ed, second.
I second.
Marlene, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're out at 5:55. Great. What, that's.